Profile share via email report story. Chapter 22 The right answer. A week. One whole week just passed. Everyone was still in an awful condition with each other. Nothing is going well. They all didn't do anything about it, more of like, they don't know how to fix this. Momo tried to tell Todoroki about the plan of the opposition to the marriage, but the problem was that he kept avoiding her. Avoiding her for a week. It was honestly hard for her to try to he just keep on going away immediately whenever she tried to look or talk to him. She was desperate to be with him. Bakugo and Kirishima never talked to each other anymore. Their friendship was completely shattered after hearing Kirishima's true feelings for Bakugo. He wanted to apologize for that, but Bakugo didn't want to say a word to him. Jiro just felt awfully bad to say such thing to Kaminari just right after his father died. She knew she had gone too far. A whole week, Kaminari didn't go to school anymore but was just shutting himself inside his room. Even how many times Izuku has tried to convince him to go, he still refuses. Jiro wasn't able to apologize because of that. Finally, we have Izuku. The guy with big dreams but couldn't focus on those anymore. His head, heart, feelings and thoughts just kept spinning around, jumbling up inside his body. He was in the worst case scenario. Ochako was now literally avoiding him. Of course, he knew he was at fault, but the question is, what should he tell Ochako to fix this problem? His dense brain was still blank about that. "Excuse me," a female student tapped on Iida's shoulder. He responded as he turned around to face her. "Are you Iida Tenya?" she asked. He nodded, unsure who is this person. "Why yes, I am." Why? The girl looked down with sad eyes, with her mouth being covered by her hand, trying to hide something. She just looked devastated. Iida looked at her, confused. "What's wrong?" The girl then clasped her hands in front of him. "Please, help us. Our friend, Hatsume, has been absent for a week and she has no response at home," she said. "I heard you were her boyfriend, so I really do ask for your help in this." He responded with hesitation. He then cocked an eyebrow, feeling disturbed by it already. Is this a trap? Did she just want him to go to her and then cling onto him again? He shook his head, sighing his breath out heavily. He placed his hand on his forehead, so done with her. Fine, fine, whatever. He replied in an awfully annoyed tone, but the friend smiled at him. She closed her eyes. Thank you so much. He smiled awkwardly at her. Sure, maybe it is a trap. Again, another day, Izuku getting avoided by her again. What should he do in order to make this problem go away? She literally didn't talk to him, make at least an eye contact with him or even pass by him. She was just making him a total stranger to herself. And honestly, the real problem was that he badly missed her. He now realized that, even without the slightest contact those two made with each other for a week, made him know that he really needs her with him now. She was always the one approaching him, and he was so used to it that he didn't know that it was just sad to know that she isn't doing that anymore. He was close in talking to her for some of the days in this past week, but he didn't know what to say. He didn't find the right answer. He went out of the school campus alone. Todoroki, Iida, Kaminari, all his close friends aren't with him anymore. He felt lonely. They all seemed to have their own problems and they all just wanted to be alone for that. Promoted stories. You'll also like A Million Reasons. Iswocha fanfic. Under 70.5K988. Ochako Uraraka and Izuku Midoriya have always had feelings for each other, but they never wanted to admit it. They have always wanted to find opportunities to tell each. A Hero's Love Desire. 3.6K71. It's almost Valentine's Day and Izuku Midoriya, Deku is starting to realize that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, but he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He tries. Something unforeseen. Completed. 14.3K 385. Izuku Midoriya is a young high schooler who oftentimes keeps to himself, and he enjoys this tranquil lifestyle. He enjoys comic books and keeps his grades up and is your key holder. Boku no Hero Academia fanfic. 2672. First, there was ice. Pain followed. This is how it has always been. But when you're hurt and alone, will anyone come to help, despite all your missteps? Fumiko Hanab. The 1 tilde Todoroki X reader, check mark. 773K 22.5K in quad. It's just, and quad. Her eyes were brimming with tears. No, please don't cry, I silently begged, I can't stand to see you hurt. And quad. I don't want to see any of. Echoes of obsession, Yandere BNHAX female R. 18K588. You, the reader, find yourself into the prestigious halls of UA High School, surrounded by a group of aspiring heroes who harbor an unsettling obsession with you. From Get a Hint, Will You? 3.3K32. Hey everyone, this is actually my first story, so I really apologize for any spelling, grammar mistakes. Completed. There will be bonus chapters, though. Related and not. Izuku didn't want to go home, so he just thought of going his favorite coffee shop down the streets near school. It was a lovely day outside with the sun brightening the hot place, just making the atmosphere joyful. But Izuku had this gloomy aura that ruins it. He then entered the place and ordered his favorite, black coffee. Well, that coffee did set his mood. So he sat down, alone, with his coffee and just stared outside of the window next to him. He didn't like the situation happening right now. Even when it doesn't involve him in it, like the others who are struggling as well. It's like neither of them are getting along with each other anymore. He looked around the place, people inside the shop, with their smiles on their faces. Wish he had them. Right now, he really doesn't know what to do in his life already. Is it because of Ochako, himself, his friends? He can't contemplate it anymore. Midoriya-chan, someone called. Next to him, Izuku looked up at the direction of the voice and caught Tsuyu. Oh, Su-chan, may I sit here? The guy nodded, so Tsuyu sat across him on the coffee table. Are you okay? She asked him. Izuku then looked at her, giving her a nod as a response. Just some things coming up lately. She nodded back. You know, it's been a while since we had a proper talk like this. Yeah, I think so too. He replied, taking a sip of his coffee. Also, I want to ask, is there something wrong between you and Ochako? Izuku almost spit out his coffee, entirely shocked that she has the knowledge of it. What? She then sighed. Midoriya-chan, I know that there's something wrong between you two. You guys are avoiding each other. Why is that? Izuku stared at her before giving off an embarrassed smile. You really do have sharp eyes, Su-chan. She shrugged. It's quite obvious, actually. Now tell me, why? He looked down slowly, still can't comprehend his situation, honestly. But he could only tell what happened. She got mad at me for avoiding her. I actually don't know why I did that in the first place. It really is my fault. Suyu then closed her eyes. Midoriya-chan, let me tell you something again. I'm going to be straightforward to this. He looked over to her, waiting for her to continue. Do you like uraraka-chan? His grip on his black coffee loosened as some of it spilled out. The coffee. She pointed it out. Oh, sorry. He then set his mug on the table, wiping the excess coffee that was spilled. So about the question, she said. He then answered back. Su-chan, for the last time, I don't know. Midoriya-chan, just say it, please. Yes or no? She didn't accept his answer. Neither. I can't say yes and I can't say no, I don't know which is right. She then asked, why is it so hard to know? Because this is the first time I'm experiencing these feelings and I'm not sure how to deal with it now. So how long will it take for you to finally deal with it? I don't know. The conversation just got more complicated. He then looked down, calming himself. I really don't know, okay. She then spoke. Hey, Midoriya-chan. What? He still kept his head down, feeling anger in his guts. Do you know about the unknown person who gives you chocolates every Valentine's Day? He looked up at her, raising a brow. How do you know that? She then sighed as she looked out of the window, not wanting eye contact. I was the one who's giving those. He widened his eyes, completely surprised. You were the one. She nodded back. Why? She looked at him. I gave those secretly every year because I was scared, actually. Suyu. Scared? Really? Scared of what? Suyu looked very nervous and sweat was coming out of her temples. Because I like you. Izuku's eyes got 2 times wider. A small blush appeared on his cheeks. Like me. She nodded. Yes, it's because I like you for all these years. He was stunned, shocked and confused. No words came out of his mouth anymore. She then continued. Can I ask you something? He hesitantly nodded back. Will you be my boyfriend? His entire body shook as it trembled after. This sudden confession was too abrupted that Izuku had no time to process it to think on what is going on, BB boyfriend. She nodded back. He then breathed in and out steadily, slowly regaining his senses to finally answer her question to settle this. Sorry, Su-chan. I don't think I can. So it's a no. He nodded back, feeling really bad for rejecting her. It was very sudden that he had to. It's a no, because you don't love me back. You don't have the same feelings for me, right? He nodded again, feeling worse than ever. Exactly. It's easy for you to say no to someone who you don't like. Now I want to say this. If Uraraka-chan were to confess to you, will you say yes? His heart thumped faster and louder, surprised with the question which was the most difficult to answer. If she were to ask you right now, will you say I don't know again? It didn't make sense if he did answer her like that. Is it a yes or a no? He sighed as he closed his eyes. I would say yes. He hid his embarrassed red face full of blush, because of his answer. Suyu smiled at him. You say no to me, because you don't have feelings for me. Now tell me, why did you say yes to Uraraka-chan? This little, sneaky, smart girl. Trying to open up Izuku's true feelings and letting it all out for him to finally understand. It's because he didn't want to say it because of his hesitation and he still wasn't sure. God damn it, you dense idiot, it's literally the total opposite of the other answer. She scolded. It's because I like her. He finally admitted. Finally, from all of those thoughts, questions, feelings scrambling in his head, finally, he has found the answer. The real answer to his feelings. Suyu smiled even more, seeing Izuku's shocked face with the words he just said which he knew that he would have never said in his life. There we go, that's our answer to your, I don't knows, she emphasized the words. After saying I don't know all the time is his answer, he finally changed it and knew the right one. He does love her. Alright, Midoriya-chan, I better go now, I'll leave the rest to you. She waved goodbye. Wait, now, right after that, she then chuckled. Yeah, sorry about that. See you. Alright then. Bye. She left the place and started walking back home. She then gave off a sad smile to herself. Finally, after seeing him devastated for the past week, I managed to do something about it, she said to herself. She started laughing softly. Funny how I let myself get rejected to just let him show that he likes Uraraka-chan. She felt utterly down. Good luck, Midoriya-chan. A tear rolled down from her eyes as she started crying. It hurts. Watching someone you love liking someone else. And you help them get together by you getting hurt. She regretted not confessing earlier. Well, she blames herself so it wasn't his fault. It's just really unbearable to just do nothing before, but by the time she did, it just didn't go the way she wanted to. Instead, she used it to make the person happy and she knows, she will just get hurt in the end. She walked to the alley down the streets, still with her face weeping. Asui-san, someone called her from afar. Her face slowly looked up to see the person. Are you okay? The person asked her with a worried look on his face. Tokiyami-kun. Iida sighed under his breath in front of a certain door. He looked once again at the paper he was holding, which was given to him by Hatsume's friend. This is the place. Odd. The vicinity looked rather isolated and all messed up. Her door looked like it was made 80 years ago. Her apartment was at the end of the corridor on the top floor. He decided to knock the door. But no one responded. He thought to himself if this was really her house. He then inhaled deeply as he turned the knob. It was unlocked. The door creaked as he opened it fully, revealing the nasty old place. It was dark with the walls all covered with stains, including the floor. He gulped look around as he walked in. Hatsume-san, are you here? He called unsurely. There was no response but just silence. He then went upstairs, which he believed was where her room would be. Gosh, why did I agree to this? He clicked his tongue in annoyance, regretting his choice in checking on her. Are you in here, Hatsume-san? He said as he opened a certain door after he went up the stairs. But it was the bathroom, full of bugs and lizards all over. He immediately closed the door as he squirmed in disgust and he began to shiver. This place looked like it wasn't used for years. There was another door next to it with the door looking pretty new and clean. He tried going there and to knock the door first. Are you here? He said quietly, opening the door lightly. Fortunately, he picked the right door. It was her room. He could tell because there was pictures of him all over the walls. His eyes followed to every photo of him in different venues. He shut his eyes, trying to remove the image of what he just saw. Creepy. But then his eyes caught something else. Oh, Hatsume-san, your friends were. He then took a sharp inhale as he found Hatsume on the floor. His eyes filled with horror. Completely terrified with the sight he's seeing. His mouth trembling as if he wants to shout immediately. She was found on the floor, with a jar of pills next to her with her mouth full of it, dripping out of her mouth, showing that she was overdosed by it. Her wrist slit open with blood coming out of it. Dried blood. Her hair was so messed up, with few of her hair cut off and a scissor being next to her as well on the floor. Lastly, a picture in her hands. The picture of her and Iida together where she took photo when she first went on their first date. Her arms full of scars and freshly cut wounds caused by the scissors itself. Her eyes closed with dried tears and blood all over her face. She was a mess. Iida quickly rushed over to her without thinking. Hatsume-san. A.N. Disclaimer. Please do not follow the actions that has been shown in the story. Please do not attempt suicide or cutting your skin, for they are dangerous and could cause harm to you mentally and physically. Smiley face. Depression is bad, y'all. LMAO. I'm feeling a bit down the mood right now, guys. I just had my camp recently before writing this, and let's just say it didn't end well. I hurt a friend, a really, really good friend, and now we aren't talking that much anymore. Actually, not at all. I was tired and very sad when I came back home and I didn't feel like writing this. But, thinking about you guys waiting for my next chapter has always gave me a big push and motivated me to continue. Without you, I would have never even bothered to finish this. Once again, you guys are amazing. thank you all so much for such big support and love you have given to me. Love you all, smiley face. Now, haha, big question. Please tell me, all of you. After this book ends, which of my, coming soon, works do you want me to start with? 333. Where stories live. Discover now.